What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother Sean Watkins for the $10 donation via the Cash App. He leaves a note saying, big ups on the video. And I'm assuming he's talking about the video I uploaded earlier today on this channel, the golden age of the NBA. They're going to give me some good feedback on that. I'm glad you guys liked that video. And I felt like a lot of people could relate to that. You know, a lot of people who are subscribed to me, I think, are sort of in that age range, 30s, 40s, into their 50s. So I felt like you guys could relate to that time period. And I truly believe that was the best era of the NBA. I mean, to broaden it out further, I would say, hell, anything before 2010. But especially the 60s through the 2000s. But I didn't want that to be too long, so 80s through 90s. But I'm glad you guys like that. So I want to talk about this over here, because I talked about some other stuff about Dwight Howard on my other platform, Too Raw for Sports. You know, this nonsense that he brought last May, and then he reiterated in a recent interview about why he think his prime was greater than Joker's, whose prime isn't even over yet. And Stephen A. Smith chimed in on his opinion about the whole situation. And like I said in my video, even with a guy like Stephen A. Smith, a broken clock is right twice a day. So in that same interview, he was talking about comparing his prime to Jokic. Dwight Howard made another claim, and that is that he feels that he is a top 10 center of all time. And it says in a recent interview with Zion Olojede of Complex Sports, Dwight Howard claimed that he is a top 10 center of all time. Specifically, he claimed that he is anywhere from 7 to 10 in the rankings. All-time centers, I'm top 10. I'm top 10 all time. I know everybody what they're going to say with Shaq, Hakeem, Wilt, Kareem. Then you got Moses, Bill Russell. Those are top 7 right there. And then between 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm in that spot. And I got almost 15,000 points, 16,000 points. I'm sorry, it might be more than that. Almost 15,000 rebounds. That's a lot of rebounds, and I played in a different era. People be forgetting as far as bigs and stuff like that. For example, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he had the most points in NBA history. He didn't shoot threes, so imagine how hard it was for him to get those many points. Let me see the centers that he named. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He didn't. So he actually just named 6. So he thinks he's like 7 through 10. First of all, he has a lot more points than he thought he did. He says he thinks he has 15,000, 16,000. He actually has well over 19,000, closing in on 20,000. So he's shortchanging himself when it comes to points. And I believe he does have something around 14,000, close to 15,000 rebounds. His numbers are great. His numbers are tremendous. But that just illustrates further how much of a wasted potential he was. He had the potential to be a top 5 all-time center, but he wasted it. He wasted it by not improving much as a player when it comes to adding certain pieces and compartments or what have you to his game, and relying too much on his size, strength, and athleticism for too long. Whereas at least Shaq did add certain components to his game. Dwight really didn't. And when the game began to change, Dwight became, he became expendable. When the role of the big man began to change from the traditional post-up big, getting rebounds, posting up in the block, and, either scoring or drawing the defense and kicking it out, or just playing, being a rim protector, whatever. The role of the big man began to change greatly. It wasn't as important, unfortunately. And also, you start seeing more stretch fours playing the 4 and the 5. And it became more about shooting and spacing the floor out and perimeter orientated. So a guy like Dwight Howard became less valuable. Same thing happened to a Kendrick Perkins. Shaq retired just at the right time. But even with Shaq, he wasn't getting the same calls, and look, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a top 10 all-time center. All right. I've done a top 10 list. My top 10 centers are, I believe they're Wilt, Kareem, I think it's Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon, I think it's Shaq then. That's 5. Then Moses, I think then David Robinson, I think it's then, Mikan, then I think it's Gilmore and Ewing. I think that's my top 10. And then even afterwards, after that, it's until like my top 15, he's not in that. Dwight Howard, I think it's Wes Unseld or Nate Thurman. I think it's Nate Thurman, Wes Unseld. I think it's Bob McAdoo, Robert Parrish, and then Jokic. But now I'm gonna have to put Jokic a little bit higher since he's won a championship. Probably have to put Jokic like probably like top at number 10 now. I probably have to put Jokic at number 10. And then push the list down from there, like Ewing 11, Nate 12. And even with that, like, I would put Willis Reed ahead of him, and that's if you consider Willis Reed a center. So yeah, no, it's too much. It's too much. He has too much competition at that position, man, for him to be a top 10. No, hell no. That's absurd. But that's just my opinion, man. I don't see Dwight Howard as a top 10 all-time center, but he had that potential. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.